Before watching this video, please watch my previous video titled Method 2, How to Take Accurate Measurements on a Real Body for Drafting a Basic Bodice. That video will give you a better understanding of how the measurements used in this video are derived. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to draft the back basic bodice using the Helen Joseph Armstrong method. This method is a little more advanced and a little more comprehensive than the previous one. To start, I've got my regular rulers, my eraser, my pencil, and my tape measure. I'll be drafting my back bodice on the same paper that I drafted my front bodice on. I added more paper to make it enough. I've gone ahead and drawn my center back line and my horizontal line at the top of the paper, just as we did when we're drafting the front bodice. So I'm going to start inputting my first measurement, which is my center back full length measurement. Starting at the intersection of those two lines, I'm going to measure my center back full length. From that point, draw a horizontal line across the paper and label that line waist. That line is not based on any measurements for now, but your back and waist measurements will be measured along that line later on. Measure your across shoulder length at the horizontal top edge line. Your across shoulder measurement is from shoulder tip to shoulder tip. From that point, square it down or draw a guideline that is 3 inches long. At the intersection of the waistline and center back line, measure upward the length of your center back length. Remember, your center back length is different from your center back full length. Please do not confuse the two. There are two different measurements taken at two different reference points on the body. And from that point, draw a guideline that is 4 inches long. At the intersection of the horizontal top edge line, which is now your across shoulder length, measure your neck length. My neck length is 3 1/4, so I measure 3 1/4 along the across shoulder line. Come back to the intersection of the waistline and the center back and draw a diagonal line that is the length of your shoulder slope. Make sure it touches the 3-inch guideline you drew earlier. The shoulder slope is measured from shoulder tip over the shoulder blade to waist at center back plus 1/8 of an inch. Starting at the neck point, draw a line that is the length of your shoulder plus 1/2 inch for dart. Make sure that the shoulder length touches the point where the shoulder slope line and the 3-inch guideline intersect each other. The shoulder slope line is the long diagonal line you drew earlier. From the neck point, draw a perpendicular line to touch the 4-inch guideline below it. To achieve a perpendicular line, place a transparent ruler along the shoulder length line, making sure a line on the ruler aligns with the shoulder line. Then draw your perpendicular line. From the intersection point at waist and center back line, measure your back arch measurement. The back arch is measured from center back to the underarm plus 3/4 inch, all from underarm to underarm divided by 2 plus 3¼ inch. Then draw a guideline that is 11 inches long upwards. Along that same line, measure your waist measurement, also referred to as your waist arch measurement, plus 1 1/2 dart intake plus 1/4 inch ease. So in my case, I measured 8 3/4 after all the calculations were done. Then extend that point by 1/4 inch downwards. Again, from the intersection of the waist and center back line, measure your dart placement. My dart placement is 4 inches, so I measured 4 inches along the waistline. From the dart placement point, measure 1 1/2 inch dart intake, then mark the midpoint of the dart intake. From the end of the waist arch point, starting at the 1/4 inch extended point, draw a line that is equal to the length of your side seam. Pivot your ruler so that the side seam measurement touches the 11 inch guideline. You should get a slightly or steep diagonal line. From that point, square in about 1/4 inch. At the midpoint of the dart, draw a line that is 1 inch less than your side seam measurement. In other words, your side seam minus 1 inch equals the length of the dart middle leg. Then complete the dart by drawing the outer legs and extending each outer leg by 1/8 of an inch beyond the waistline. Then draw either a slight curve with your curved ruler or a straight line to complete the waist. Whatever your preference is, this will not change or mess up your basic bodice pattern. Do be sure to be consistent with either a curve or straight line at the waist on both front and back bodice. To address the dart at shoulder, find the midpoint of the shoulder length and mark. A neat trick is to use a tape measure to get the length of the shoulder, then fold the tape measure as shown to get the midpoint of the shoulder length. From that midpoint, measure out on each side of the midpoint the half inch of the dart intake. To use my shoulder length as an example, my shoulder length is 5½ inches. 5 inches is the actual shoulder length plus half an inch dart intake. Then I divided the 5½ inch by 2, which gives me 2 3/4 inches. I then marked 2 3/4 inches to get the shoulder length midpoint. From that 2 3/4 point, I measured 1/4 inch on each side because the dart intake is half an inch. Half an inch divided by 2 equals 1/4. Then extend the dart legs by 1/8 of an inch. The little mistake I made is I should have drawn my dart legs first and then extend the dart by 1/8 of an inch beyond the shoulder length line. though it doesn't change anything, but that would have been a better explanation. From the midpoint mark, draw a line that connects to the apex point. Then from that midpoint again, measure 3 inches and mark. Then draw the dart legs to the 3-inch point mark. So here I measured my 3 inches and marked that point. Then I drew the 2 dart legs to the 3-inch point mark. From the extended point of the dart legs, draw a line that connects to the 2 ends of the shoulder line. Square it down about 1/4 inch at the open end of the shoulder line. To create our across back, we'll need to do 3 things. The first thing we'll need to do is to measure the distance between the center back length point level and the waist and center back point level. Then divide that measurement by 4 to get 1/4 of the distance between the 2 points. Again, I'm going to use the tape measure trick, where I'll use the tape measure to measure the distance between the 2 points, then fold it into 2 and fold it into 2 again to get 1/4 of the distance. The second thing we'll need to do is to measure our across back measurement. The third and final thing to do is to draw a line that is the length of your across back measurement at the 1/4 mark point. Then from that point, square it down about 3 inches. Then use your curved ruler to connect the 3 points that will form the arm curve. Do not let your curve lie inside the square line when drawing your arm curve. So here I'm just using my curved ruler to draw in my armhole and making sure that my armhole doesn't extend, or the curve doesn't extend beyond the square line. From the corner, draw a 3/8 inch angle line as I'm showing. Then use your curve ruler to draw the neck curve. Make sure your curve touches the 3 point that will form the neck. Here is the back basic bodice. And the front basic bodice side by side. To finish up, we still need to address the darts on the waist and shoulder and add 1/2 inch seam allowance all around the sloper. Start by folding the dart that is closest to the center back line over to the other dart leg. Then redraw the waistline to align it to make it equal. Sometimes after folding the dart on your drafted sloper, the lines on the waist can become uneven. Use a tracing wheel to go over your dart to create an impression that will form the dart extension. Do the same process for the shoulder dart. I'm using the tracing wheel to go over the dart to create a dart extension. I repeated this same process for the shoulder dart. To complete the back bodice, I added 1/2 inch seam allowance all around the sloper. To complete the drafting process, I folded my darts and taped them down to make sure that there's a smooth curve at the waist, and then I taped the one at the shoulder and aligned the shoulders together to make sure that there's a smooth curve transition at the neck. There was at the neck, so I didn't bother, but at the shoulder you could see that there's a little discrepancy, that they are not even, so I went about correcting that. I taped the front and back pattern together to get a quick look of what it would look like if I had sewn it together. Finally, here is a quick look of what the pattern would look like. Okay everyone, we've come to the end of this tutorial. If I have made drafting a basic bodice a little bit easier to understand and helped further your fashion designing experience, please give this video a thumbs up. Until my next video, bye everyone.